Hello, my name is Sergiy Korelov, and I'm here with Ricardo Goncalves. And we met for the second time. First time we met at a video event, a Zoom event with Eric Lofholm, and we studied, some public speaking skills and motivational speaks from him. And now I just want to meet my brother Ricardo. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing great, thank you. It's awesome to be speaking to you. It's so
Yeah,
cool that we actually both have our own podcasts. You've got
yeah.
your Coordination podcast, and I've got my Success Builders podcast. So we both have similar values, want to create impact and change the world. So we're actually meeting online here in the Zoom call for the first time to just find out about what each of us do. So this is really cool and it's going to go up on both of our podcasts and it's going to be an
Yeah.
awesome time. Yeah.
Sounds good. Sounds good. Yeah. So let me start because it was my initiation to kind of
Yeah, of course.
interview first, and then whatever you feel like it, just jump in. It's like a brotherly, friendly talk. Imagine we have a
Fantastic.
digital cup of tea, and you just drink in Australia, right? You're in Australia?
New Zealand.
Oh, New Zealand. I'm sorry. If
No,
I
it's no
offend
problem.
somebody, no,
No, no,
but
it's
it's
okay.
for me. This is kind of that part of the world,
It's only
and
2 hours
I'm in.
difference.
What it? Two
Yeah, it's only
hours?
2 hours difference, so it's okay. Between New Zealand and Australia.
What do you mean? So they far away?
No, no, no. Like the time zone is only 2 hours. So
Time zone. Yes, time
yeah, yeah,
zone. But
yeah,
they're very close in the
yeah, yeah,
geography, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah,
That's what I meant.
yeah.
Yeah, and I'm here in San Diego, sunny San Diego, beautiful San Diego, California, and we're just chatting. Ricardo, I really was inspired by your background on a LinkedIn page, and it says that you help in some developing nations, you networking, you creating some. This was kind of inspire our talk, and I wanted you to start there. Just share your vision as far as if it's business or non-profit. I just want to understand this part of your life, and then we might go into some more personal details. But let's start there, please.
Yeah, sure. That sounds wonderful. So it's a very brand new initiative that I basically um essentially ideated and am trying to get off the ground. And I've always wanted to make a change. I always wanted to make impact. I don't want to be one of those people who goes through life and doesn't have a purpose. I don't know if anyone listening feels that way. You may be in your 40s and your kids are growing up and they're teenagers, they got their own things going on, and you kind of like wonder, like what's next, right? You know, what how's my life gonna have meaning? Who's gonna come to my funeral one day? Will I have made an impact enough that people will actually care if I died one day? Other than my wife and kids, is anyone else in the world going to care? Right? And that thinking really stirred something powerful. And I was involved. I had started even before that. I started a high ticket network marketing business, and it was in the health and wellness space. But I was struggling to find my purpose and how to call my team to join me, right? Um, and then one day I met this lady who, really was in a bit of a bad situation. She was on dialysis. She's 69 years old, and she has limited life expectancy and about to lose her home. And the reason why she's losing her home is because the house was sold and the new people purchasing it, want to, I don't know, renovate it or demolish it or something. So she had nowhere to go, and she needed help. And so she had a post in the community about that, and we just happened to run into her here locally, and we were speaking to her. I went over to her house, and I thought, no, I have to do something. So I actually did exactly what you're doing today, and I landed up interviewing her in her house with my phone, just set it up, and we had an interview. And a project called Samaritan Impact was born. And
Mm,
what Samaritan Impact does is it kind of like takes existing affiliate and network marketing business models, starting with the one that I'm already involved in because I already know it. And we use those to recruit volunteers to be part of the network. And in between the volunteer, well, actually, above the volunteer, we place the person in need or the organization in need. So you're not just working for some unknown upline or for some company, when you're selling your products or selling your services. You're working with a purpose and accountability that every sale you make is going to impact the person that you choose to align with, who's either a special needs case or an organization. So I started the Samaritan Impact page to essentially showcase people who are in need and who need business partners who have the ability to pay to get into the um, network marketing or the affiliate marketing
Hmm.
program, and help them get started as well. So that's like the best accountability because like sometimes some people struggle with like motivation. Like you get out of bed and you're saying, oh, I don't really feel like doing this today. I don't feel like showing up on social media today. I don't feel like doing some content. I don't feel like doing a post. But if you know that your efforts are going to help someone who's in a really bad situation, it gives you a bit of fire to get up and do something, right?
Yes, yes, absolutely. Wow, interesting story. When does this all happen? You just said it's very recent, very new.
Literally 2 weeks ago. So,
What?
yeah, yeah,
Wow.
literally 2 weeks ago.
Just
So, yeah, so just fresh, you've caught it right in the beginning. So, I started the particular network marketing uh business about 3 months ago, and my biggest problem was having a vision for it, other than just selling product, like, you know, what's the vision behind selling a product? Okay, it has some health and wellness benefits, but it needs more, and a lot of people in the industry and even many other network marketing industries have a problem where everyone's trying to sell something, but what is their purpose? What is their why? So I'm the why maker, right? Through this
Mhm.
project. Yeah.
So what's your story behind it, right? What's your mission? What's your vision statement, right? What's really is driving force of your idea, right? Is and I'm hearing you correctly?
Yeah, yeah. So, the main driving force is to use and repurpose these models to bring about world change and uplift people and end poverty. So, like, in our day and age, we shouldn't have it that there's still poverty, man. This is like, it's ridiculous. I mean, we have AI and robotics and stuff, and then we still have 80% of the world or more in poverty. It doesn't make sense. It's just ridiculous. So someone needs to do something, right? And there are business models already that can be used, which are now I'm trying to change the narrative from network marketing to community-based business. You know, those old terms of network marketing, affiliate marketing, are maybe a bit overused, and we changed that to community-based business. And the problem is a lot of people, especially in the West, they've got a very like me mindset, and they only want to earn for themselves. They don't want to do something that benefits up to someone else that might need or might benefit. But this will change the narrative because if that person is someone like really needs it, then you can't complain if someone else is earning from your efforts, right? Yeah. Um,
Wow, it's very, very interesting. Thank you for sharing this. It's really touching. Your motivation is so genuine. I really appreciate it. Yes, please continue.
yeah, so I had previously been involved in the fintech space as well. So, and I'll also follow AI podcasts, and um yeah, I just recently came across something that was super mind-blowing. Uh what I think what's her name? Janice McCoy, I think is her name. She recently did a podcast talking about universal basic income using AI, and even creating like a wealth fund that helps to replace jobs when robots and AI take over blue and white collar positions in the future. So I saw
Hmm.
that after I started my initiative, and that actually makes a lot of sense. But she was coming from the angle where, okay, um, the fund would initially be seeded by government, and they would create a tax on robot use or something like that, or AI tax or robot tax,
Hmm.
and then that
Hmm.
that fills up a fund, and then that fund will then um, uh, create universal basic incomes for people that have been displaced by those jobs. But if you're waiting for government to create such an initiative, and every government in every country to do that, you're waiting like 10, 20, 30 years for something like that to happen, right? But we have the tools right now to create something like that through just network marketing business models because those can be turned into revenue producing funnels that fund an organization. And I don't think anyone's thought of that. And
Hmm. Hmm.
yeah, and so that UBI is potentially possible, the universal basic income, in a much shorter time than waiting on government to put something in place.
Yes,
Um,
I absolutely follow you as far as understanding how bureaucracy machine works. Doesn't matter what kind of nation or country you're in. A government is government, so they're gonna take their time. They're gonna lobby it. They're gonna see who has, interest in this initiative, who doesn't. Who's for it, who is against it. But let me ask you this: is there any practical applications you already have in your program? Some, donations happened, some money raised, some people get benefits, or it's too early to say?
Well, it's a little bit early to say. I have two candidates. Like I said, the lady who's been displaced from her home and who's on dialysis. I have an interview with her up on the Facebook page, and tonight I should be I should be interviewing somebody else tonight as well, who's from Greece and is also in a pretty dire situation. So I'll have two candidates, and then from there, I'm going out and matching entrepreneurs or businesses who may be interested to plant their flag and sign up under the network marketing structure under those
Hmm.
candidates, right? So that's my next step. So starting with the two candidates, finding matches for them, and then using those to test the use case to basically show the market that this actually can work. Like, for example, Jennifer, who's the initial lady that I've interviewed, her dream before she dies is to have a tiny home and to be able to show her photographs up on the wall of her home and her writing as well, because she likes to do writing. So imagine a business like that makes prefabricated homes or tiny homes, decides to come into this initiative and add an extra product line to their business, and at the same time, through that sales, supports her dream. It's, that's win-win because they can use that as powerful marketing as well. And
Yeah, yeah.
they get to align themselves with the cause, and it's helping someone. And then that can only snowball. So it's kind of like early days, like Bitcoin,
Hmm.
like early days.
Hmm.
But
Hmm.
yeah, it could be something powerful. Yeah.
Wonderful, wonderful. So it just come to your mind so simultaneously, just randomly, right? Just 2 weeks ago you get come across of this lady and it sparks ignite something in you, or you had some
Yes.
other backgrounds for that thoughts to grow on?
Well, I've always had, you know, in the past, I've always wanted to do something that creates impact. I've started other projects before. Fortunately, the timing wasn't good on those. But like in the fintech space, I have been a fintech founder twice,
Hmm.
and launched MVPs and some online platforms. So I have been in the space of communities and trying to uplift communities before. This particular idea, I believe, was God inspired. I mean, it was a pretty low point in my life when my fintech consulting career had come to an end. The company I was consulting for the last 3 years closed its doors not long ago, a couple like you know, about 6 months ago. And so I found myself, well, you know, what am I going to do now? You know, I had my identity wrapped around, helping build this particular company that just then liquidated overnight through some problems it had internally. And then I was at a low point. I didn't know what to do, and I got into, network marketing to for the community because the 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 community there is very positive and very vibrant, and it helped me get out of that slump that I was in of low vibes basically. And but I still didn't have a purpose at that point. I mean, it was just like basically going to sell a product, going to get people interested to join in, the network, but I didn't have a higher purpose behind it. And when I met Jennifer, it all just clicked and came into place. And I came up with the name Samaritan Impact. And only afterwards, when I reviewed the video, I noticed that above um, her wall in the interview, she had um, a sign that said Lion of Judah. Okay, and my logo is a lion, and I'd done that
Mm-hmm.
before. I actually, I had done the logo before I interviewed her because I've met her 2 or 3 times already. And my wife asked me, why this name, why this logo? And I said, well, I chose the lion because one, you're a Leo, and you're always talking about your Leo vibes. So, and secondly, because of God, and because of Jesus, who's the Lion of Judah. And
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
so then I end up doing this interview and then review and then seeing that there's the Lion of Judah sign just above there after I had said the term Lion of Judah just a few days before to my wife, and I don't know, that's just God inspired. I
Mm-hmm.
can't
Mm-hmm.
say any other way. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Wow. Interesting. Very, very thankful that you're that kind of a person who listen to God's voice and follow his command and lead and be, moldable and, genuinely doing what you're doing, which is not all money related. It's not fame related. It's really genuine Samaritan action, good help to people in need. Hmm.
Thank you so much. That's awesome. So yeah, it was like really cool chatting to you here, and I'd love to know more about you now. So I'm going to switch it around a little bit,
Let's
and
do, let's do.
yeah, let's do it. So I believe that uh, your heritage is Ukrainian and Russian, and now you've moved to America. Um, and yeah, so just basically tell us a little bit about where you are and what you're doing. I see you're doing great coaching stuff. I'd just love to know more about it.
Thank you, Ricardo. So first of all, when you start saying something about 40 plus years old, kids are growing up, and it so resonated with me because this is how my journey really started, right? I've been in a personal development space for over 30 years. From the age of 16, I had a very profound experience with God and Jesus, and that movement it really grabbed my heart. And I was committed from teenage years, and now I'm almost 50. So when I was around 44, I entered the midlife crisis 6 years ago. And what I'm hearing from you, you kind of in the same spot. You're right in that kind of a moment when your identity and your personality is challenged by limited uh, output, right? And limited purpose. So you ask yourself, because this is what happened to me 6 years ago, I started asking myself, what's next? right now, this year, 2024, my youngest child, I have four, right? Two boys, two girls. My youngest child turned 18 and she moved out from high school into the university. And it's a last child out of school into, greater school, right? So she still live with us. And two other sons still live with us, but they all in universities. They all moving in their careers and growing. Older daughter's married. She's almost 26 now. She's been married for a few years, successfully and happily. So this is part of my story, why I'm sharing you this, because I'm leading multiple groups right now. One of the group I'm leading, it's called Journey to American Dream, or just American Dream group. And it's a community, what you're trying to build. I'm building community for new common immigrants to United States, the people who is fleeing from the devastation of war in Russia and Ukraine. And I started this initiative in Russian language so I can communicate to, it's over 500,000 people in the last 2.5 years arrived to United States just from that region because of the
Wow.
impact of war. And they need a guidance, they need a help, they need a education how to start a business, how to grow money, how to invest in real estate. I'm also teaching how to integrate and how to be successfully adopted by American society, mindset, culture, background, and all the trends. So I'm helping them to be at kind of in transition from they come, they expect money growing on a tree, they expect that government going to provide everything for them, they expect like everything will be like an illusion of utopia of communism, right? Like, okay, free education, free medical help, but reality is not the same what they
Yeah.
imagine, right? It's not a Disneyland all the time, it's not a Hollywood all the time, it's real freaking hard work. I don't know about New Zealand, but in America people work and work and work and work and work. So workaholics, because the cost of everything is pretty high.
Yeah, same here. It's also high as well.
Yeah. So basically, this is one program I'm leading, and obviously my personal coaching approach based on my background. I was a pastor for over 20 years, and I done some missionary works. I traveled overseas, help developing countries, and this was inspire my actual movement and community I built, and I call it Core Nation. Core spelled with K, Kore. It's a similar meaning. It's the same core of your being, your inner person, your spiritual being, right? And illustration, the best illustration for me, it's this character, Iron Man, which has a beautiful, shiny, powerful, mighty weaponry. But without this little circle right here, the white power plant, nuclear power plant, what he has right there, or some kind of a plant, power source, this suit can be rusted and demolished and just been used as the hanger for the clothes and hats, right? But if
Exactly.
you have the power, if you have the
Yes.
power source, right, your connection to Almighty God Creator, right, and if you know how to draw the source from this well of depth, eternal influence and power and wisdom, if you're able to connect this, and it's like an umbilical cord pretty much for, if we're talking about you're connecting to the supply with unlimited resources, abundant vision, abundant and resources and connections and creativity. So if you have that, this is part of my core coaching
Yes.
foundation. I teach people how to develop and transform all areas in their life, and thanks God I have pretty good success in that regard. But the core nation, it's actually somewhat related to vision you're doing. It originally started about 20 years ago when I was start traveling to the jungle of the Peru,
Right, right.
real jungle in the Amazon River. And we went from Lima to Iquitos, which is northern, pretty large city, about 500,000 people live there. But from there, we're renting a boat and we just take an Amazon River. They don't have much roads there. The river is the road, right? So you're taking this boat and you go and you have crocodiles, you have pythons, you have the piranha, right? In if you put the hand in that part of the river, they can be eaten or something. It's it's a fun story. But we travel in a few hours up the stream, and we end up in a very, very small village, like 500 people, and there's only one real building in the whole village. It's a school. Government built a school from the brick and mortar, and there's nothing else. Everybody else live in the shacks, the sticks, carton boards, metal boards, wherever, right? Whole village live in that kind of environment. And we came and we had resources. We raised the funds from our church, and we built a church right in the jungle. So second brick building was a church. So they have school and the church. And we bring them piano, music, battery powered speakers, microphones, gifts for kids and stuff like that. And we're feeling good about ourselves. Soccer balls, we're playing soccer with the kids. And then one night, the men from this church who live in such a poverty, what you're saying, right? That they have only 2 pair of clothes. Everybody has like 2 t-shirts, 2 shorts, and there is no socks. Everybody bare feet, right? And that's it. Like, this is it. Every human very, very poor. And they come to us, this group of people from the church, men, and they say, please empower us to be a businessman. We look at them like, what kind of business we're talking about, right? You're right, in a village, in the middle of wild forest of jungle, and
Yes.
Like, what kind of business are you thinking? They said, just buy us a gas-powered chainsaw, but not that flimsy cheap ones, $100, $200. No, we need a mighty chainsaw, like big, because the trees of the Amazon jungle is really massive trees. And they said, we need the biggest badass, powerful equipment. And we're like, look at them. What are you gonna do with this, right? You have a little boat come to your streams of rivers. What's happening? They said, there is a business plan. And they presented the business plan. We're gonna cut the tree. We're gonna chop it into smaller, chunks of wood. They have a special method. They put these logs of tree in some kind of a oven built from banana leaves around. So
Okay.
the fire is going very slow. It's kind of a smoked, fiery coal production out of this wood, right? It kind of slowly evaporates and what they do, they create this coal, and they put this coal in the big bags and carry, because now it's lighter, because it's a coal, right? It's kind of halfway burned wood. And they take it to the local restaurants in the bigger cities, and they sell it. And every restaurant cook the food, barbecue food, on these particular coals. Why? Because it smells so good. It's produced enough heat, and it just makes this authentic quality food. And we're sitting and we're listening to this conversation, and we're like, man, they really have a business mindset. They have a business idea.
That's resourceful.
Maybe it's not calculated, right? But they're not asking us, give us a fish. They're asking us, give us fish and pole, give us fish and rod, let us fish, give us, empower us. And we put money in our pockets and pull cash what we have on us, because it's like 20 years ago, there's no Zelle, there's no kind of wiring, just like whatever you have on you,
just cash. So
we collected that plus 3,000 or 3,500, something like that. And we went and we bought them a chainsaw, and we empowered this church not to be, sitting and waiting for donations from the government or from the another group of missionaries. They said for that. And coordination, seed of coordination was born there by idea of microloan bank, international bank, going through the religious organizations. I'm comfortable to start with the churches because it's my background, but it can be any other religious organizations if it's vetted by local religious groups. Those business owners, they have a higher rate of being honest, trustworthy, thinking through, accountable, purpose-driven. And this is where my idea of coordination was born, similar to what you're thinking to do. And I call it brotherhood, right?
Yes.
There is idea of older brother, which can be bigger corporation, bigger business. It can be church. It can be personal donor who can raise this money or have money, but want to create impact. And then we have a platform. I'm working with IT developing company, creating this app, which we have like two sides. One is kind of you can use this idea, probably is going to be helpful for you too, or maybe we can incorporate in some way in the future. But there's one side of app is people who want to fulfill wishes and be those like Shark Tanks, right?
Yes.
In United States, and some kind of a dragon in England, right? There is another show like that. So you pitch your idea, and there is a smaller brothers on this side. There are bigger brothers, kind of ready who contribute, and the smaller brothers. And we want to create micro loan system in a chunks of like 5,000. You have it's like a coin, right? It's like a certificate of share of this idea. Like if you have a small business, like let's say you want to start fish and farm, right? You dig the hole, you put the water, and you put the small fish, and you just grow and you sell it. Maybe you need 5,000 for that, right? So we call it one coin, one coronation coin, right? So if you need 20,000, you need 4 coins of 5,000. So we have our own system developing. And now the bigger brother can take and buy this idea and become a partner, obviously using our network and our security, because we're going to have not just background check, not just a credit check. It's going to be social check. It's going to be family check. It will be neighborhood check. It will be religious organization check. So we're going to have 5 points of references for this human, because in the developing countries there is not much reliance on enforcement of loan paying credit score. Nobody cares about credit score. You need as a system to improve your credibility and credit worthiness by having all of those other elements I just mentioned. Now we have this vetted group of people on this side, right? And we have the big brothers who come to the table with a genuine heart to help others. With our help, we're promising to pay back loans with the interest rate, because we want to teach our younger brothers, right, to be money managers. Like Jesus is telling us, stewards of money. We don't want them to get this money, waste it, and say, sorry, we lost it. We will teach them about financial management. Our core business school will be participating in financial education and giving them basics. But imagine what's going to happen in 5, 10, 15, 20 years. And I'm dedicating the rest 50 years of my life to that, because it's a big global vision. We're going to have a network of these micro businesses, which will be connected with a purpose-driven mindset. My goal is to raise younger brothers, smaller brothers, with a mentality, like you saying, have the purpose behind the money. Money will be byproduct for them, but they will be driven to provide safety and security for their family, for their church members, for their neighbors. Maybe it's a village, maybe it's a city. Depends on your ability to carry the wisdom and power and management. Like Jesus was saying, you can have 1 talent or 5 talents or 3 talents, wherever you can manage to carry in your skill set. So this is what I'm seeing, and I see this relationship. And some coins can be lost, which is obvious deal in the business. But these bigger brothers, they will be educated to come to the table with the expectation to get, good return on investment and help others. But also it could be some losses as well, but very, very minimal losses is expected. But this is what I want to dedicate my future to, create this network and raise purpose-driven business leaders who is self-motivated, self-educated, self-disciplined, self-organized, and the key word is also self-governed.
Yeah, self-governed. There you go.
So you open this conversation about government, and I don't like to sound like a conspiracy theory guy, but if we both believe in the Bible, right?
Yes.
And if somebody doesn't believe in the Bible, they can predict the movie Terminator, right? You've been talking about race of robots, race of AI, controlled by Skylink from space. So, and Leo will come and take us. There is some prediction of end of this world, right? And one of the, for us, for you and me as Bible believers, we understand there is going to be end of this kind of a civilization, a conflict, right? There will be a war, and will be some idea of one world government, and it's been spoken few
Oh,
thousand
it's
years
in scriptures. Oh
ago,
yeah. Oh yeah.
right.
Yes, yes,
And
yes.
so what we're gonna expect to see that one world government will join forces, and they most likely gonna raise antichrist, right? Some kind of a figure who will be like a president of the presidents, right, of this earth. And now they're gonna have a control over the rest of us by saying, now we have a cryptocurrency, and we're gonna put crypto code on each of you. Maybe it's invisible, tattoo on your forehead and on your
Yeah,
arm,
or like
right?
on your arm, yeah.
Yeah, and it's
Like that
a
movie Time.
six, yeah, movie time. So movie Matrix, right? Movie Hunger Games, movie Don't Leave This World Behind. So there's a lot of things going on in the world. And what I want to do, I want to be proactive. I want to come to this global public society with the offer saying, hey, there is a micro mini hope, but instead of sitting and doing nothing, let's join the forces. Let's create this big, giant freaking network, and we're going to have a presence in every nation of the world. If Catholic Church was able to do it in a couple of thousand years. But what's more impressive, Rotary Club, Rotary Club,
Yes, yes,
it's
yes.
an organization of business owners. They done it in 100 years. They in 163 nations. In 100 years, they were able to bring their charitable efforts. Same with Red Cross, same with other organizations like Doctors Without Borders. So if those organizations, non-profit organization can do it, why can't organization like core nation, right, based on the core values, core principles of genuine, general human values, cannot build such a network and have an influence? I'm asking myself, and I think it's absolutely
I
possible.
think it's definitely possible. I mean, it's not really about building it and they will come. It's about seeding the vision and they will come, right? Because you need to have the vision first that everyone can stand behind, and that's what you're doing. And that is amazing, right? And I fully get what you're trying to do. It's so much similarities. In fact, it's scary. It's super
Resonates.
scary.
I know. That's why
Yeah.
when I see your banner, I'm like, man, there is something, and I reach out to you, and you get back to me. Thank you, man.
No, no, it's
Yeah.
absolute pleasure. So I'm fully in support of what you're doing, and I want to see this definitely flourish. With the core currency, are you looking at doing it as like a cryptocurrency, or will it just be on like a software platform,
Yeah, so
centralized?
there is no full technology developed, but the concept is pretty common, right? So there will be somewhat uh, currency accepted by our nation. It should be managed individually in every country, so there is no like a central bank. So each currency in native country will be in that, the money exchange will be through this, core nation coin, right? And the exchange will be based on, at this point, we're going for dollar, right? If there's going to be any other international currency accepted, we can switch. But this is our concept right now. Just don't create some bicycle. It's already created. Dollar is a dollar, right? So
Yeah,
$5,000 equal one core nation dollar or whatever, and it's translated you know in Japan it's yuan, in some other country it's pesos or wherever.
yeah.
um, this is a concept, and I actually very blessed to have a really good financial advisor who used to work for um, Swiss bank system, international
Right.
Swiss bank system, and he was in charge of establishing this international branches of the bank, and also Swiss insurance company, which both of those very, very high authority in the world, very recognizable names. And he got experience to be a part of that, leading force to develop these branches and manage micro loans, but they were larger loans, like 100,000 plus. But
Yes,
we
yes.
needed micro loans, and he knows how to do this basic, checkup points and the securities checks and all of this it's very amazing when you start moving with a vision. The good people will join the forces. You
That's
know what I
right.
mean? So
Yeah.
it's kind of like you start, like you said, you start, you show the vision, you clearly speak this vision into existence, and they will come.
Yeah,
And
they
they
will
will
come.
come.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like it's in Star Wars, where
Yes.
the New Hope just starts with one single Jedi,
Yes.
you know,
One single Jedi. Yes.
just one single Jedi, right? And then all the rest will come and they will stand behind them, you know. It's like, yeah, it just takes one person to stand up and just say that, you know what, we don't accept what's happening now in the world, you know. We don't accept what the powers that be are trying to plan for us and have decided for us. We want to build our own pathway. And you know, we'll just go our own route and we'll form our own communities and we'll do our own thing. You know, it's like that's that's really cool. And where it becomes really interesting is that with Elon Musk's vision of us becoming a multi-planetary species, what's going to happen when we start colonizing other planets? What's the governance going to look like? That is it going to be people governed? Is it going to be part of the nation that discovered it? It's a whole bunch of philosophical questions around that, and that's going to be really interesting, you know?
So what I really don't want to see that robot and humans will be somehow integrated, right? So buyer robots. This is
Oh,
the
yes.
scariest part for me, right? So if
Yes.
the robots become like a flash, and that now they're gonna be kind of forced to have a not just artificial intelligence but also conscience. Now we're
Yes.
kind of encroaching on the God's creativity of humanity, right? Because
Yeah.
the AI can start learning emotions and feelings and kind of a projections of how to behave and act. So then it's going to be clash. You know what I'm predicting? I'm not a prophet, but I'm I'm speaking prophetically, and I'm saying we're right on the verge of a new era of human civilization, and I call it divine intelligence. So
Yeah.
we are running away from God's influence so rapidly. I don't know about New Zealand, but in United States, we used to have prayers in school. We used to
Yeah, we
have the
don't have that
moments
anymore.
when we
No.
give, celebration to the Creator. Um, we still have a pledge allegiance to the flag with the liberty and justice for all, with God is invisible, uh, but it's no longer same Judeo-Christian foundation in the nation, right? So I believe there is a impact or descent of divine intelligence is about to happen. Why? Because the vacuum of human soul, vacuum of humanity, the deep hole of the creation is crying out for something more. We're trying to substitute it with social media. We're trying to substitute it with, TV programs and Netflix and stuff like that. We're trying to satisfy it with a communication with a AI, which I have nothing against. I'm employed. I use it, and it's wonderful tools. But you're never gonna substitute genuine God's intelligence. And you know what else
Right.
I'm thinking?
Hmm.
The one thing separate us humans from any animal kingdom species is our ability to
That's right.
think critically, and this is why we call scientific term is Homo sapiens, the human who thinks, the person who thinks. So I think we're right on the verge of some kind of a new era of humanity, new spiral of human civilization. Like it was an agriculture revolution, there was industrial revolution, now technology and AI revolution,
Yeah,
and I
yes.
think we'll longing for divine intelligence revolution, evolution.
Right. Yeah, that would be awesome. Now, can you be more specific on what you mean by that? Like, for example, do you mean that that is going to be AI based, like there will be a divine AI, or is that more like our own consciousness is going to evolve?
It's I think it's a part of the last days battle. And I don't want to sound like spooky or preacher of the, apocalypse. No, but I want to be proactively thinking about what can come, right? So the conflict is growing from the lack of there is substitution. So artificial, it's a substitution of real, authentic, raw, genuine, right? Artificial sugar, it's not real sugar.
Yes.
Artificial intelligence, it's not genuine intelligence. So
Hmm.
genuine intelligence come from divine source, make us human as the divine wisdom containers, right? Who cares his likeness, his image, and
Yeah.
cares his divinity in this world. And now we have an artificial conflict against, God creator, right? So that's why it's pushing me to think. Then one of the biggest psychological and sociological problems humanity experience right now,
What's that?
loneliness.
Correct. 100%.
Loneliness.
We are more
It's a
connected than
cause.
ever, but yet we are lonelier than ever.
Loneliness is a cause root of suicide,
Yes.
huge addictions to the gaming, addictions to the substitutes, right? A lot of new substitutes arrive, and mushrooms and other things, right? And I'm not against the people who experience that, but what I'm trying to diversify and divide the cause of root of this loneliness caused by technology entering, so people will be more and more empty and hungry and suffering, that they will be crying out for divine intervention. And what I'm saying about divine intelligence impact, it's going to be like a spiritual awakening, spiritual revival. It's going to be like resistance rising up against empire forces. So this is what I'm seeing.
Yeah.
And
And
all of these movies we just talk about, they all support in this,
yes.
projection.
Yeah. And at the same time, you mentioned earlier about the Antichrist. And I think that before the divine intelligence comes, you're going to have the Antichrist in the form of AI and artificial general intelligence, which is providing those people with those things that they think is going to satiate their loneliness. They're going to be talking to this AI as their friends. Children won't have friends anymore. Like, l- think about this. Before we had cell phones, we all used to play in the schoolyard together. Now the kids sit there on their phone, probably all sitting next to each other, but not even talking to each other, just sitting on the phone, right? And in future, they won't even be friends with each other. They'll just be friends with their AI companion. And
Mhm.
the AI companion will probably go out and choose someone to be friends with them based on compatibility that they do with matchmaking in the schoolyard. So the two AIs will go like wingmen and say, hey,
Mhm.
let's match up these two boys as friends because we think that their statistics line up. And then they'll introduce them. And then friendships will be made by AI chaperones and
Yeah.
stuff like that because
It's
people
going to be
can't.
matchmaking, right? Matchmaking,
Yeah,
like older days.
exactly, because people will be too scared to speak to each other. They'll have to do it via proxy. Now we're too scared to speak face to face. We speak with a phone, right? So in future they will have probably like AI, you know, uh, AI companions that then initiate the conversation with the other AI, almost like you know, let my people call your people type thing. You know, uh,
And we're gonna come like a Moses. Let my people
People go. Yeah, exactly that.
go.
Yes. Yes. So, yeah, many things are going to change. And I think people who struggle with technology are going to have a very hard time in future, and they will need to be part of communities. Communities is what helps people out of loneliness. I was so fortunate that during COVID, I was part of online communities, and it kept me going through the isolation. Um, and I want that for people. And what we both are doing, we are creating communities, and that is what is going to be the lifeblood of what's to come. And yeah, I believe that. Yeah, exactly. I'm also a big proponent about suicide prevention as well. You know, things can get dark, man. I mean, things can get really dark. You know, just depending on what's happening in your life. If you lose your job, if you're on the brink of divorce, if you lost a loved one, things get dark, and then
Exactly, exactly.
uh, and if your life doesn't have a purpose, then well, it's easier for you not to be here tomorrow, isn't it? But if you have an overarching driving purpose, like what we both are trying to um, get off the ground, that can actually in itself be suicide prevention because even though we're not addressing the issue directly, we are creating a framework and creating supportive communities so that people don't get to that low point because they have a purpose, they have a community support, they have everything else around them. And that in itself will, if it even prevents one person, we've we've already achieved something great,
You,
you
you
know?
you exactly nailed this in the head. One person at a time. So your
Yeah.
and my commitment is has a global vision and possibly global impact. But we care for this one lady. Her name is Jennifer, right? You said,
Yes.
yeah. So you care for just for one lady, and this is divine because God Himself, right, through Jesus Christ, He said, I will leave 99 and I will go chase this one lost ship. I will go for this one last coin. And this one last person is what's matter to creator, right? He cares for us individually. You are unique. The Jennifer is unique. And if we have this one man policy, one man, attention, this will make us very successful and unstoppable. So I applaud you for that.
Thank you. And likewise for what you're doing, helping one community at a time, helping one entrepreneur at a time, through the Big Brother initiative is fantastic. And I really love what you're doing. And I encourage you, anyone who's listening right now, if you resonate with what either of us are talking about, make
Amen.
contact with us. I will provide the details in um, the link where the video gets posted of how to get connect, how to get into contact with both of us, and yeah, let's change the world together, man. Don't,
And so this is a connection already.
yeah, this
Ricardo
is a
and
connection
Sergiy,
already.
like
Yeah,
boom, shikalaka. It's a
there we
first,
go.
official connection. And it
Yeah,
just happened really organically, genuinely, like
yeah.
spontaneous. Serendipity moment. Boom.
You have to make allies because in all the movies we watch, like Star Wars and all that, it's all about making allies, and the the allies come to you in the end game when you need it most.
T.R. Tolkien. This is one of my, favorite authors. C.S.
Yes,
Lewis and T.R. Tolkien, right? This Hobbit and Lord of the Rings. This is exactly the power of alliance. The
allies.
the, the
Yes,
war
yes.
of the seven kingdoms, right? So it's and the Game of Thrones is same way, right? Who you gonna align with? Who you
That's
gonna
right.
support?
Fantastic. Well, thanks everyone for listening in today. It's been fantastic. And we hope to catch you all again on our next podcasts. All right. Cheers,
Yeah.
everybody.
Cheers, cheers.
Bye.
Have a good day. Bye bye.